So let's start off with the first one we've got here, which is Plan 8 from Pearl Abyss. Now this is a both PvP as well as PvE open world RPG game. Now to be honest, this is by far one of the best looking games that I've come across, which in no way or shape or form looks like a AA game. And this game has been in development for a very long time. And the publishers, Pearl Abyss, they haven't really given us any recent updates, although the last update that they've given so far, it was unfortunately 4 years ago, which is in 2020. So yeah, this game is apparently supposed to be both PvP and PvE action. It's an open world game where the machines have taken over the humanity, and it kind of does seem like the game has storyline. There isn't really like a lot of official information that was given by Pearl Abyss, and everything that we're just talking about is pretty much just what we have seen from the trailers. They haven't really given us like an entire brief. If we go down to some of the about section of this game, they have actually said that it's going to be an MMORPG franchise, which is similar to Black Desert or even the Crimson Desert that's coming up. And as for the release date, I think we still have a very long wait to do in order for this game to come out, because first Crimson Desert comes out and then they'll most probably just move on to this game in the future. Up next we have Ferocious. This is a first-person open world survival game that is set in a dinosaur island. Now the objective of the game is pretty simple. It's an action-packed old school first-person shooter type where you just landed into this island from a shipwreck where it takes you into this mysterious hostile location where you're not only going to survive against some of the most ferocious dinosaurs, but the game also has like really weird creatures like overgrown super large crabs that you can see. And honestly man, in terms of graphics, I think this game looks incredible, and it's actually being developed using the Unity engine. And as of now, the devs haven't really given us an official release date yet. Now all that they've said is that it's going to be coming out sometime, but we don't really know when that sometime is. They haven't even mentioned if it's going to be 2024 or 2025. But the developers have always been very active in terms of updating the community with all the development details and how the progress of the game currently is. So it is of course a game that you surely don't want to be sleeping on, and I think they've done a pretty good job being a AA game. It kind of stands up to an expectations of what a AAA game could deliver if it was done right. Now up next we have A Quiet Place, a game developed by Saber Interactive, a well-known developers when it comes to making quality AA games, and now they're finally back with a game that actually looks pretty darn good. Honestly man, it seems like they've invested a lot of money in this game, and as far as what I've seen from the trailer, it does look like the game has a very emotional storyline, and the gameplay looks perfect as far as what they've shown. It's a first-person horror game, but not exactly horror. It's kind of a storytelling game, like if you played games like The Last of Us, you know that it comes under a horror genre, but then it's not exactly horror. It's like an action-adventure game most probably. So yeah, this game is actually set in the same universe as the movie called A Quiet Place. Now if you haven't seen that movie, I would honestly recommend you guys to watch the first two parts, because the third part, which recently just came out, is absolute dog shit, so I wouldn't really recommend that one. But then the first two parts are really amazing, and I honestly would suggest you guys to go ahead and watch that before you play this game. So yeah, the game is going to be coming out in Q4 of 2024, which is all the way in October or November of this year. So keep your eyes peeled. I will of course keep you guys updated if we get any further information about this game on the channel. And next up we have No More Room in Hell 2. Now, honestly, this is by far one of the most enjoyable zombie open world survival games out there, because not only does it look good, but it also plays good, and the plot of this game is actually pretty good. Now, No Room in Hell 2 is a terrifying 8-player co-op action horror survival game, but the game doesn't really have like a storyline or an objective. It's basically you just finding your friends in the dark and surviving in a dynamic, endless open world game that is completely replayable in a zombie apocalypse. Now all you have to do in this game is basically just survive, kill some zombies, have fun with your friends, build your own base, defend yourself against the zombies. But then it's actually pretty good. If you have like a huge group of 8 friends, it's actually going to be a pretty fun game, to be honest. Now this game is developed using the older Unreal Engine, which is the Unreal Engine 4, and even though it's an older engine, it actually looks pretty sick in terms of how the graphics looks, and I think they've gone intentionally with a more stylized graphics rather than going for a completely realistic one. And I think that the stylized version actually looks way better than what it would have looked like if it was on a more realistic scale. Now, honestly, this is a game I'm super excited for. I can't wait for it to drop. It's coming out in October of 2024. Now the devs haven't said which particular date it's going to be, but then all we know is that October is going to be the time when this game is going to arrive. And next up we have this game called Alkahest, which is an action-adventure RPG game which is set in the murky medieval world. Now it's all about exploring some realistic locations, and then you have this monsters that you need to fight. It's a first-person game and it's set in the medieval times. The graphics, they just look incredible. Since the game is developed on Unreal Engine 5. In every game that's made using Unreal Engine 5, it usually looks good, and I think this is one of those examples. Now, we recently got a brand new trailer from these devs, and the trailer actually showcases some of the gameplay footage, which looks incredible. And honestly, I really can't even think about how this game could be called as a AA title. I mean, looking at it, it kind of has the similar quality of what God of War game kind of represents, and hopefully as good as this game seems to be, I hope the story narrative stands up to the point and gives us a really good game when it comes out. Now, this game is set to be releasing sometime in 2025. Now, in this game, you're going to be playing as an alchemy specialist who uses some of these potions and magic in order to take down some of these monsters, or what the game likes to call as the murky creatures. So you're basically going to use a lot of alchemy and magic in order to survive in this bizarre world. And if you're someone that really liked games like The Witcher 3, I think you guys will absolutely love this game. And in terms of visual standpoint, I don't think anybody can complain about this game at this point, because it looks absolutely stunning in terms of graphics, ray tracing, and everything. But then hopefully the game's storyline is going to be as good as what we have been expecting from all of the gameplay trailers. Now, Alkahest doesn't really have an exact release date. The only thing that the devs have said that it's gonna come out very soon, most probably at the end of 2024, or maybe in 2025, or maybe not as well. We don't exactly have a release date, but then it does look like a pretty cool game, and I wanted to go ahead and handpick this game and put it out there on your faces so you guys can take a look at some of the amazing games that's coming out in the future. And up next, we have my most anticipated game on the list, which has like a really weird name called Still Wakes the Deep. Now, honestly, I think they could have gone for a more smaller name, because when it comes to naming your game, it is what markets the entire game itself. And I think that publishers need to be more careful in terms of making the names as short as possible so that you can easily get recognized more, rather than having like a super long name like this game has. Now, although keeping the name aside, this game is actually very good, which is a single player story narrative game. Now, usually when it comes to horror games, the game is basically set with just jump scares and all that stuff, whereas this game focuses more towards the storyline, and they've tried to stick to a more linear types, where you're going to be playing as an electrician who's trapped in a damaged oil drilling platform all the way inside of Northern Sea. And as you guys know, Northern Sea is one of the most scariest seas out there. There is no freaking hope of getting out of that place. So that already makes the entire concept of the game horrific. Then we actually need to fight against a mysterious sea monster which appears on this oil rig, which only appears when there's a storm going on in the Northern Sea, which creates an atmosphere which kind of gives you the cinematic look. At the same time, it's a horror game. You have like all of these monsters coming from all the different sides, and you know, it's a very scary game. Honestly, it's a game that I'm really looking forward to. And good news is that this game actually has a release date, and the good news is that this game is already out, so you can currently play this game. It already released on 18th June 2024, and the reviews and ratings for this game have been outstanding. It's one of those critically acclaimed games. It's a AA game, but then it kind of just stands way better than what AAA games have been so far. So I would definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and try this game out right away. Now, finally, we have a very weird game, and the reason why I'm saying it's weird is because it's an action adventure game, but at the same time, it kind of gives you that horror feeling. Now, this game is called Indika. It's a third-person story-driven game that is set in the alternative Russian universe, where you play as a nun whose religious vision is going to be clashing against the harsh realities of world. Now, in some instances, it's also known as a horror game because you're directly just fighting against the devil in this game. So apparently it's God versus devil. I haven't played this game yet, but then I would honestly go ahead and try it. The reviews for this game has been exceptional, and every single reviews that I read on Steam, it looks like people are absolutely in love with this game. Now, the good news is that this game is already released on May 2nd of this year, so you can play the game right now. All you have to do is go ahead, purchase the game. It's on 20% sale right now, so make sure you guys go ahead and take advantage of it. And now moving up to number 8. Now, this game has a special place in my heart. Now, for those of you guys who know me, you know that I love games that is set in China or feudal Japan time. Open world RPG game where you're supposed to build or create your own character in the game, and then this character is going to be played as one of the RPG roles. And this game is absolutely fantastic when it comes to a linear storytelling experience. And for those of you guys who are fans of games like Ghost of Tsushima as well as Sekiro Die Twice, then I think you guys would absolutely have a blast with this game. Now, when it comes to parkouring as well as the combat system and all that stuff in this game, it just looks marvelous. The open world and everything is just crafted in fantastic shape. So while you're playing this game, you'll actually feel that ancient Japanese aesthetic vibe in the environment, and the way the open world world is designed and the activities you could do. It's just really exciting to see what this game has to offer. And now on number 7, we have Ark 2, the dinosaur adventure game that a lot of us have been waiting for. And I know that a lot of people are huge fans when it comes to the first Ark survival games, where you have to tame dinosaurs and survive in the MMO open world, the PvP/PvE environment, and explore the island of Ark and, tame dinosaurs. You can build your own houses. And also this game has so much crafting mechanics that you guys are absolutely going to fall in love with. It said that Vin Diesel is going to be a protagonist of this game, and some sort of linear storytelling is what the developers are currently focusing on. Now, apparently we don't have much information about this game. All that we know is that it's going to be releasing in 2024. We've got the Metal Gear Solid Delta. Now, Metal Gear Solid Delta is an upcoming action-adventure stealth game. Now, this game is actually a 2004 model's complete remake, which is being done with the latest Unreal Engine 5.4 technology. Now, this game is going to be coming out on all platforms 2024. As of now, they haven't really given us an exact release date, but 2024 is going to be a good start to begin with. Now, up next, we have Gears of War E-Day. Now, this game was announced for the very first time in Summer Game Fest, and it actually looked spectacular. Now, E-Day is going to be a story-driven game that takes place 14 years before the first Gears of War game. Now, we're going to be playing as war heroes Marcus Phoenix and Dom Santiago. Will be returning home to face a new nightmare called the Locust Horde. Now, these subterranean monsters are going to be erupting from below, laying a siege on humanity itself. Now, Gears of War E-Day is going to be a ground-up game that's built with the Unreal Engine 5 technology, and it's going to be delivering some unprecedented graphical fidelity. As of now, Microsoft has said that Gears of War E-Day will be launching in September or October of 2025. Now, up next, we have a very unique game, which is called Atomic Fall. Now, this game was originally announced on Summer Game Fest, and apparently this is a single-player open-world survival action game, which is inspired from real-life events. Now, Atomic Fall is set 5 years after the Windscale nuclear disaster in northern England, where we are going to be exploring the fictional quarantine zone, scavenging, crafting, bartering, fights, and also you got options to fight or even talk your way through a British countryside setting filled with bizarre characters, mysticism, cults, and rogue government agencies. Now, this game is from the Rebellion Studios, the guys behind the most infamous indie project called Sniper Elite and Zombie Army. And now, Atomic Fall will challenge you to solve the darkest mysteries of what really happened after the nuclear disaster. Now, if you've played games like Fallout, this is going to be very similar. It's a game that takes place after the nuclear explosion, where you've been hiding inside a fallout shelter, and now you're finally out. And now you're getting to explore this lush, green, unpleasant land, which is located in the British countryside. Now, I can't wait for this game. It's going to be coming out on 2025 to Xbox, PlayStation, as well as for PC. Now, up next, we have a game that really stirred a moment in the gaming community, which is none other than the Marvel's 1943 Rise of Hydra. Now, this is a game that basically features a Marvel superhero storyline, a fight between Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Black Panther, the man himself. Now, it's going to be an action-packed adventure game that's developed and published by Skydance New Media, and it's based on Marvel comic characters. And this is apparently the first game that is being developed on the latest Unreal Engine 5.4 technology, which comes almost as close to looking like a photorealistic project. Now, they showed off some tech demos on the Unreal Engine 5.4, which is a visually stunning and mind-blowing tech demo that Unreal Engine showed off. And ever since that, the gaming community have just stirred up this huge moment of excitement for this game. Now, this game is set to be initially launching sometime in 2025. Moving on to the next game, Crimson Desert. Now, this is a game that I've been super hyped for a very long time, and I've been covering this game on the channel for over a year now. Now, Crimson Desert is an upcoming open-world role-playing game which is developed and published by Pearl Abyss. Now, this is also a game that is heavily inspired from Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, the developers Pearl Abyss have already confirmed that they are developing a game that has a lot of features and gameplay mechanics that are going to be similar to Red Dead Redemption and how Rockstar Games was able to achieve with this dynamic open world. And the devs have said that they're trying to put in as much effort as they possibly can in order to get a similar kind of experience for all the gamers out there. And it seems like the long wait for this game is actually going to be worth it at the end of the day, because this game is coming out in Q2 of 2025, and yes, it's officially been confirmed by Pearl Abyss. Now, with that being said, if you guys are excited for even any of the one games that you've seen in the top list, then drop a like on this video and show your support of the content and your boy. That would really mean a lot to me. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.